Hare Krishna. Welcome to all the devotees in today's session of the Secrets of Bhagavad-gita. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Savitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today we are going to cover Bhagavad-gita chapter 2, text number 45. Reading from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. Okay. So first I will read the verse and its translation, and then we will cover Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. त्रैगुण्य विषया वेदा निस्त्रैगुण्यो भवार्जुन निर्द्वंद्वो नित्य सत्वस्थो निर्योगक्षेम आत्मवान. Translation. The Vedas deal mainly with the subject of the three modes of material nature. O Arjun, become transcendental to these three modes. Be free from all dualities and from all anxieties for gain and safety, and be established in the self. Okay, let's start. Shri Vishwanatha. त्वं तु चतुर्वर्गसाधनेभ्यः सर्वेभ्यः विरज्य केवलं भक्तियोगम् एव आश्रयस्व इति आह त्रैगुण्य iti. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that uh, why Lord Krishna speaks these particular words. The Traigunya Vishaya Veda. The Vedas deal mostly with the three modes of material nature, and that is why you do not think in those terms. So better you situate yourself in the science of Bhakti Yoga. And what will the results of Bhakti Yoga? Nirdvandvaha, Nitya Sattvastaha, Niryoga Kshema, Atman. So you will be self-realized. You will be situated in your real position, and you will be free from all dualities. So in the process of Bhakti Yoga, uh, we see these results that one becomes indifferent to gain or loss, and gradually we can come to the stage where we are completely purified of all impurities or all sorts of dualities. The actual impurity in our life is ignorance, and because of ignorance we tend to think in terms of dualities, that there is pain and there is pleasure. Actually there is no pain, there is no pleasure. It is just a these pains and pleasures do exist, but they are on the material platform. On the platform of souls or spirits, spiritual platform, these pains and pleasures of material existence do not actually matter, because they are temporary, and actually we do not have uh, any close connection with such pains and pleasures. So how do we see this? uh, just to let's say from a practical example. So uh, when we see someone suffering, that is also a sort of pain, and when we see someone happy, we also feel pleasure. So however, uh, at least if you see the aspect of feeling pain by seeing others in painful condition, so we can compare it with a self-realized person who is able to see the pains of his body, but actually he is not disturbed by that. So definitely he will um have some feeling of pain because it is in the body, but actually he is indifferent to it. So that is the meaning of becoming free from all dualities. So even there is pain or even there is pleasure, uh, we lose any interest in that. Or to put it in more simple words, for example, if we do not like sweets, for example, it's hard to find anyone who does not like sweets. But let's imagine that if someone doesn't like sweets, then even if you keep those sweets in front of him, it does not really matter because there is no attachment to those sweets. So in the same way, even if there are pleasures before a self-realized person, he does not take pleasure in it. So that's why uh, he actually does not get affected by that pleasure. And the same thing about pain. Even if there is some pain in his body or in around him, so he does not get affected by that pain because generally we feel pain because we identify ourselves as a material body. The more we are in material consciousness, the more we feel pain. So that's a simple equation. If you are and Maya will test us. There will be situations in life when there will be painful conditions. So it depends how we react to it. So if you are on the platform of knowledge, then we will see the pain, but we will not be uh, affected by that pain, or even if there is pleasure. So we won't be going crazy just because there is some pleasure. So that's the stage of self-realization. Okay, and that is why Lord Krishna advises Arjuna that uh, Vedas generally deal with three modes of material nature. That means sense gratification, even if it is regulated sense gratification, but it is still uh, the subject matter is sense gratification or how to get purified from that sense gratification gradually. However, I advise you to uh, situate yourself in bhakti yoga. That is the purpose of this verse. त्रैगुण्याः त्रिगुणात्मिकाः कर्मज्ञान आद्यः प्रकाशत्वेन विषयाः येषां ते त्रैगुण्यविषया वेदाः स्वार्थेषां एतच्च भूम्ना व्यपदेशा भवन्ति इति न्यायेन उक्तम्. ओके, भूम्ना व्यपदेशा भवन्ति, वेरी गुड. So Traigunya, so the word Traigunya Vishaya Veda has been used. So what is the connection? Traigunya Vishaya Veda, Trigunatmika, Karma Jnana Adyaha Prakashatvena Vishaya. So those subject matters who uh, glorify karma, jnana, yoga, etc. So such subject matters are found in Vedas. So that is the point. त्रैगुण्याः त्रिगुणात्मिकाः कर्म ज्ञानाद्यः प्रकाशत्वेन विषया येषां ते त्रैगुण्य विषया वेदा. So Vedas mainly glorify karma, jnana, yoga, etc. And next is Swarteshay. There is some particular uh, pratyaya or suffix, not suffix, oh yes, it's a suffix. एतच्च भूम्ना व्यपदेशा भवन्ति इति न्यायेन उक्तम्. So someone may question that, okay, but how do we know about bhakti yoga? If Vedas deal with the subject matters of the karma jnana and so on, then where do we find bhakti? So it is from the same Vedas we come to know about bhakti yoga. So the answer is bhumna vyapadesha bhavanti iti nyayena uktam. So bhumna means those are in the majority. So according to majority, uh, they get the name. So, for example, if there is a grain storage of wheat, so if uh, the storage mainly contains uh, stocks of wheat. However, if we put some bags of rice in that, that does not mean the whole storage house will be named the after rice bags. So the storage house will still be called a wheat storage house because it is in majority. So that is the way we should understand why Vedas mainly deal with. Uh, the Vedas mainly deal with three modes of material nature or um, subject matters related to sanctification, and that is why they are called Trigunya Vishaya. The, there, there is discussion of Bhakti Yoga in Vedas, but it is very less. Okay. Next, किंतु भक्तिरेव एनम नयति इति यस्य देवे पराभक्तिर् यथा देवे तथा गुरौ इत्यादि श्रुतयः पंचरात्र आदि स्मृतयश्च गीतोपनिषद गोपालतापनी आदि उपनिषदश्च निर्गुणां भक्तिमपि विषये कुर्वन्त्येव। वेदोक्त अभावे भक्तेर अप्रामाण्यम एव स्यात्। ततश्च वेदोक्ताः ये त्रिगुणमयाः ज्ञानकर्म विधयस्तेभ्य एव निर्गतः भव तान् न कुरु। Okay, that's a different point. So here the point is, if we think that Vedas mainly deal with three modes of material nature, then what about Bhakti Yoga? Because we hear about Bhakti Yoga statements like this: Bhakti Riva Inam Nayati. Only through Bhakti uh, one gets elevated. Yasya Devi Para Bhakti Ritha Devi Tatha Guru. One who has influencing faith uh, or devotion to one spiritual master and Lord Shri Krishna. So he all the divine qualities appear in him. Then ityadi shrutaya. These are all the shruti statements. And then there are literatures like Pancharatra and Smritayaha. There are many Smriti Granthas like Manu Samhita, Yajnavalkya Smriti. Around 20 Dharma Shastras are there. Then there is Gita Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, which appears in Mahabharatam, and Gopal Tapni Adi Upanishad. So within Gopal Tapni Upanishad, there is a description of Bhakti Yoga. So Nirgunam Bhakti Api Vishek Kurvanti Eva. So all these literatures, uh, uh, they explain the subject matter of Bhakti Yoga, which is transcendental to three modes of nature. So Vedo Ukta Abhave Bhaktir uh, Apramanyam eva syat. So if we think that these things are not mentioned in the Vedas, then that will lead to a conclusion that bhakti is not authentic. So there will be further discussion on this. Uh, let us see. Uh, so, but we should not understand that just because it is not mentioned predominantly in the Vedas, it does not become unauthentic or not bona fide. So there is description of Bhakti Yoga in Vedas, and that's why we should not mistakenly conclude that There is no bhakti yoga in Vedas, or even if there is bhakti yoga in Vedas, uh, it is irrelevant just because it is in minority. Actually, it is mentioned in the Vedas and other Vedic literatures, and but it is not so explicitly mentioned, uh, explicitly, or we can say elaborately mentioned in the Vedic text, because most of people in the material world are mainly interested in sense gratification. So for them, uh, the more relevant part is that more relevant part of Vedic knowledge is that they should get uh, purified of their tendency to enjoy senses. So because of that, there are so many rules and regulations given in the in Vedic literatures. So these instructions are more relevant for them. So though there is bhakti yoga, but because to perform bhakti yoga, one should have purified senses. So through bhakti yoga also we get further purification. However, even to begin bhakti yoga, one must have some purification, or one should not be addicted to sinful habits. So if one is addicted to sinful habits, then it is almost impossible to uh, progress on the path of bhakti yoga. So we may say that okay, we are we are attracted to bhakti yoga. We go to temples and we hear Krishna katha. But if we are engaged in some sinful activities, then it is impossible to progress further. So yeshantvandagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvanda moha nirmukta madante mam dridhavrata. So thus as the resolution, absolute resolution to perform bhakti yoga appears only when one is free from any sins. One should not be engaged in any sinful activities. And that is why there are dharma shastras and other scriptures who guide us how to purify our senses, how gradually, because sense gratification in and its of itself, uh, we can say it's a sinful tendency in a conditioned life. Even any thought of sense gratification is also sinful. So because we do not think of any sense gratification just to survive, that is not the case. Generally we think of sense gratification to enjoy it, and that is why unless we are uh, guided by dharma shastras and uh, other literatures like pancharatra and so on, deity worship, so then it may be possible to remain free from sinful activities. And then along with these regulatory prescriptions from dharma shastra and other scriptures, we have to practice bhakti yoga. And by such a practice of bhakti yoga we can further get purified. Generally, devotees, or even within ISKCON we see there is a propaganda that we don't need varnashram, we do not need varnashram dharma, and to advance in bhakti, we can this bhakti alone can purify us. That is true, but are we qualified to take up bhakti in that way? So bhakti can purify even chandala, even someone is born in the family of dog eaters. That is possible, but are we qualified to take up bhakti in that spirit? So most of people they do not embrace bhakti like that. So they get attracted to bhakti, but they still uh, have some material desires. So they can't just overcome material desires immediately, though they know that uh, uh, cultivating material desires is a cause of distress. So they are not cultivating material desires, but still they cannot simply overcome them overnight. So that's a reality for most of us, and that is why it has been recommended that we should practice bhakti yoga uh, along with uh, the practice of varnashram dharma. Otherwise, one will become sahajya, or there is possibility that because we do not get any solid advancement in bhakti yoga, generally some devotees or some practitioners give up bhakti yoga because all we get is frustration or some cheap entertainment on the name of bhakti. So that is drawback and of such approach. This called sahaja approach, and that is why there is injection that we should always follow dharma, and by following dharma, we should practice our bhakti yoga. Okay, I think I should stop here. Time is also up, and I have to go somewhere. I will not be taking any questions. We will continue the commentary. Okay. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय हरे कृष्ण थैंक यू फॉर ज्वाइनिंग द क्लास